All right, today we're going to dive into a really cool project, building an AI Copilot. We're going to break down how you can stitch together AI and some awesome cloud tech to automate one of the most, tedious parts of being a content creator. So, if you've ever created content for the internet, you totally know this feeling. You've just poured your heart and soul into a new video, you hit that big, shiny publish button, and you think you're done, but really, the work is just getting started. So the big question is, what happens next?
Well, for most of us, what comes next is the grind. You know the drill. You're manually writing posts, trying to make them sound good for each platform, copying links, pushing everything out to Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it. It's super important for getting eyeballs on your work for sure, but man, is it repetitive.
Okay, so let's really focus on that problem for a second. We're talking about this manual, repetitive task that just eats up your time and creative energy. Energy you could be putting into your next piece of content, right? And the creator of this project said it best himself. This isn't just some abstract idea. It's a real nagging problem for anyone who'd rather be creating than just promoting all day long.
Okay, so what's the fix? You build yourself a Copilot, an AI-powered system that can just take over all that heavy lifting for your social media stuff.
Just picture this for a second. Instead of you having to do all that work, what if a system could automatically spot your new video, use AI to whip up a catchy tweet, and then just email it to you? All you have to do is click a button that says, "Yep, looks good." That's the kind of magic we're aiming for here. So how does this whole thing actually work under the hood? Let's pull back the curtain and take a look at the blueprint for this automated workflow, piece by piece. Okay, from a bird's eye view, the whole thing boils down to these 5 main stages. It kicks off when it finds your new video, and it ends when a tweet goes live. And right in the middle, there's that super important human approval step. Let's dig into each one. All right, so step 1, the trigger. The whole process gets started because an automated job is constantly checking your YouTube channel's RSS feed. It's a pretty standard web thing, and it does this check every 10 minutes, just waiting for something new to pop up. As soon as it spots a new video, boom, the system grabs the title and description and shoots it over to Google's Gemini AI. And it doesn't just say, write a tweet. It gives the AI a really specific job. Act like a social media expert and write a short, punchy tweet to get people to watch this video. Okay, this next part is absolutely crucial. It's the human-in-the-loop component. The system doesn't just go rogue and post whatever it wants. Nope. It emails that AI-drafted tweet straight to you, the creator, and gives you 2 super simple options: approve and post or reject. This way, you always have the final word. And that's it. Your choice brings it all home. If you click approve, that tells the system to immediately post the tweet on X. If you click reject, it just tosses the draft. The entire manual process, all that typing and copying and pasting, is now just one simple click. So we've seen what this thing does, which is pretty cool, but now let's get into the how. What are the actual digital Lego bricks that make this whole system tick? Okay, the absolute core of this whole operation is AWS Lambda. The best way to think about it is like an on-demand worker or the brain of the system. It's serverless, right? Which is a bit of a funny name, because of course there are servers somewhere. But the point is, you don't have to manage them. The code only spins up when it's needed, and then it shuts right back down, so you're not paying for a server that's just sitting there doing nothing. So something has to tell Lambda when to wake up and do its job, right? Well, that's where EventBridge comes in. Think of it like the system's alarm clock. It's the scheduler that goes off every 10 minutes and says, "Hey Lambda, time to go check that YouTube feed." Now remember that email with the approve and reject links? When you click one of those, that signal needs a place to land. And that place is API Gateway. It's basically the digital receptionist for the whole system. It just sits there waiting for that click, and when it gets one, it knows exactly how to direct that request to Lambda to either post the tweet or trash it. Of course, there are a few other key players on this team that we gotta mention. We've got Gemini AI, our creative engine. Then there's AWS's Simple Email Service, or SES, that's our mail carrier. We also have AWS Systems Manager, or SSM, which is super important. It acts as a system's memory, so it remembers the last video it posted and doesn't create a bunch of duplicates. And finally, you have the X API, which is the key that lets our system unlock the door and actually publish the tweet. All these moving parts really show why this is what you'd call a real-world project. This isn't just some basic Hello World app. It's got multiple, interconnected services that all have to talk to each other. The workflow isn't just a straight line, it has branches for approve and reject. It's designed to handle the messy reality of how a real person would actually use it.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. Why go through the trouble of building it this way? What's the big picture here? Why does this architecture actually matter?
What this really is, at its heart, is an amazing showcase for serverless architecture. Because it's built using these on-demand services, the creator isn't paying for a computer to be on 24/7 just in case. They literally only pay for the few seconds of compute time it takes to run the workflow. It's super efficient, it can scale up if you suddenly get popular, and it's incredibly cost-effective. So what are the big takeaways from all this? Well, first, it proves that smart automation can really free us up from those boring, repetitive tasks. It also shows that these cloud services are like a giant box of Legos. You can connect them in all sorts of cool ways to build really sophisticated systems. We also see that AI can be more than just a data cruncher. It can be a real creative partner. And maybe most importantly, this kind of human-in-the-loop design shows that automation doesn't mean you lose control. It just means you get to make the final, important decision. And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. Now that you've seen how all these pieces fit together, what's that one tedious, repetitive part of your job that you could hand off to an AI copilot just like this one?